I made one meeting and said, I'm sorry, I can't make this. I can't be part of it. Yeah.
It was
it'll be here, so-
kind of a good time to be off for surgery though, because the
Okay,
kids are off school, they can bring the water and stuff.
okay. Certainly see you again.
I didn't have
It's
to
not-
get everybody up.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the day.
Worrying about my children is just not, hasn't been an issue. So-
Yeah. You worry about children, just not daily schedule. Yours pick themselves up in the morning. With a vision?
Oops, I forgot to change that. It was sitting on the record. I was like, I can't throw it away.
If you have really big schedule.
I looked at it. So.
So I get away, I'll wait.
walked up to see how I was like, oh. Did
But
it again.
you trade it with cheer. What was
That
that?
was another issue I didn't want to say.
I would like to call the January 14th, 2026 City Council regular meeting to order. Will everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carrie,
Present.
Chilson,
Present.
Hutchings. Here. Nelson,
Present.
Parker,
Yes, I'm here.
Wackler,
Present.
Kincaid. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda and consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda? Mr. Carey,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve the agenda and the consent agenda as presented before us.
thank you. May I have a second, please? Thank you, Ms. Hutchings. Are there any changes to the agenda or consent agenda? Would the clerk please read the consent agenda?
December 17th, 2025, City Council meeting minutes. Resolution 2026-001, commending the Soldotna High School girls volleyball team for winning the 2025 Northern Lights Region 3 title, sponsored by the mayor. Resolution 2026-002, commending the Soldotna High School girls wrestling team for winning the 2025 state championship title, sponsored by Parker and Carey. Resolution 2026-003, urging Congress to reauthorize the National Parks and Public Land Legacy Restoration Fund, sponsored by the mayor. That is your consent agenda.
Thank you. Are there any public comments on any of the items just read by the clerk? Anyone here in the audience wish to speak on any of those items just read by the clerk? Seeing none, are there anyone on Zoom? Having no one else, or having no one wishing to speak, the approval of the agenda and consent agenda is back before the council. Are there any objections to approving the agenda and consent agenda? Seeing here and hearing none, the agenda and consent agenda are approved by unanimous consent. Next item up is the resolution 2026-001 for the volleyball team. So if a volleyball team can pop up. If I can get this to work right. Fair warning, I'm terrible on pronouncing names, so if I mangle your name, because I'm not very good at pronouncing. So, resolution commending the Soldotna High School girls volleyball team for winning the 2025 Northern Lights Region 3 title. Whereas Soldotna High School hosted the 2025 Northern Lights Region 3 title championship volleyball tournament. And whereas the Soldotna High School girls volleyball team defeated their opponents by a score of 30-28 in a final set and secured their first championship title in 13 years. And whereas Soldotna's title was earned under the guidance of head coach Luke Ballmer, assistant coaches Drew Zeke, Daisy Cunningham, Taylor Edwards, Skylar Furlong, and athletic director Phil Leck, and manager Rebecca Weekly. And whereas the names of the distinguished players whose hard work and determination made the win possible were Emma Glassmaker, Sarah Brown, Tegan Kobalars, Courtney Cruz, Grayson Henry, Morgan Simic, Gracelyn Altobelli, Cassidy Cruz, Ashlyn Hall, Daisy Samples, Katie Harris, Samantha McCoy, Rebecca Pia, and Hayden Vidal. I told you I'd blow it. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Soldotna, Alaska, that the the City Council commends the Soldotna High School girls volleyball team for their outstanding performance in their win. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. And a copy of the resolution.
Wow, thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-oh. Here's where we break the camera.
Hold that in the middle there, Ashley.
The next item on the agenda is Resolution 2026-002, commending the Sohai Girls Wrestlers, and that will be read by an old wrestling coach by the name of Mr. Carey. And would the wrestlers please come up forward?
40 years ago, this coat was worn at wrestling matches in Sohai for a period of 7 years. And I have an assistant who's going to help me so that I will say the first name and she'll say the last name. That way it'll be much more likely that you will correctly pronounce your name. Vice Mayor Parker, could come join us. It was our resolution, please. I just come, please. Thank you, Nietzsche.
Here. There you go.
This is Resolution 2026-002. A resolution commending the Soldotna High School girls wrestling team for winning the 2025 state championship title. Whereas the Alaska State Activities Association, ASA, held the 2025 State Division II Wrestling Tournament in Anchorage at the Alaska Airlines Center on December 19th through 20th of 2025. And whereas the Soldotna High School girls wrestling team won their third state title in a row. And whereas the Soldotna title was defended under the guidance of head coach Pete Dickinson and assistants Max LeClaire, Phil Leck, Sage Castillo, and Rachel Nelson, along with Nelden Gardner, Joel Mittelman, and Justin Benetti. And whereas the team included Naomi, Mia, Chevelle, Valerie, Rowan, Madeline, Avery, Carissa, Katara. Did I say that one wrong? Katara, say it for me. Katara, thank you. Katara, Mackenzie, Infinity Ann, Julian. You did a great job. Thank you. And whereas of the 8 who competed in the tournament, 2 won state titles and 5 placed. Naomi Keller and Mia Hannevold were state champions. Valerie was state runner-up. Rowan Peck was 4th place. Carissa, Katara, and Infinity Ann all were 3rd in their weight class. And whereas the Sohai girls title, this was their 3rd state championship team title for Sohai. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Soldotna, Alaska, that the Soldotna City Council commends the Soldotna High School girls wrestling team for their outstanding performance in winning the 2025 ASA Girls State Wrestling Championship. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption. This is adopted by the City Council on the 14th of January, 2026. It's signed by the mayor and by the clerk. And stay here, and would you hold this in the middle as they take a picture? You got it? Excellent. You give that to the coach. Do you want to get over there? Perfect.
Yeah.
Great job, girls. Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item. It is a presentation with prior notice, and that will be the Soldotna Visitors Center Quarterly Update. Heidi Sorrell, Soldotna Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, will be making the presentation. Good evening.
How's that? Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I will be presenting our fourth quarter report from 2025. During the fourth quarter of 2025, the Soldotna Chamber focused on supporting local businesses, seasonal community programming, and coordinated outreach during the winter months with the continued support of the city, including the operation within the city-owned visitor center. The Chamber served as an accessible hub for those visitors, businesses, and community information. Community outreach was coordinated through social media, Chamber website and events calendar, local radio, and print placement in the Great Lander. The fourth quarter initiatives included the annual pie auction fundraiser in October, supporting scholarships in Chamber programming, and Spark Soldotna in November, which awarded $4,000 to Corey's Loaded Baked Potatoes. In late November, the Chamber also coordinated the Keep the Cheer Here Shop Local Holiday Passport Program. This included 18 local participating businesses. In December, we promoted seasonal events at the Soldotna Visitor Center, including the annual Christmas tree event and a tree lighting, as well as we added winter solstice fireworks. Weather conditions required schedule adjustments, and a hang fire prevented our fireworks finale from proceeding as planned. However, the event drew a very strong public turnout, demonstrating clear community interest in solstice-timed winter fireworks. With additional investment, future fireworks shows could be expanded to deliver a larger, more complete display that better matches the public demand and turnout. I had a lovely meeting this morning with the city manager, and we talked about potentially doing crowd-funded fireworks, if that were, if we had a community engagement in that. But the timing of the winter solstice fireworks seemed to be a really big hit by community members. The Chamber also partnered with the Kenai Chamber of Commerce on an angel tree initiative, serving as the Soldotna hub for collecting and coordinating grocery and gas donations for families and individuals in need. These fourth quarter activities were supported through the City of Soldotna's continued partnership and investment. And as you guys can see on the packets that I handed out to you, I've got a breakdown just of the year to go over some of the important numbers. And so our 2025 number narrative, we've ended the year with 482 members. Our retention rate is 70%. We garnered 49 new members throughout the year. We had 9 ribbon cuttings. We had 35,000 visitor guides distributed across the state and out of state. We partnered with 106 of our local businesses. They gave in-kind donations and services for events and chamber initiatives. We had 171 volunteers. Our socials are doing very well. We have 6.3 thousand followers for the Chamber website or the Chamber Facebook page, and then 14,000 for Visit Soldotna Facebook page. And on Instagram, our numbers are a little smaller, but it's the same page translated to Instagram for each of those. But we're still learning. We're old in the office, so we're learning how to use Instagram properly. Our outreach with our newsletter, I was told this is an incredible open rate. We have a 50% open rate. And so that is ironically the best in the nation as far as newsletter open rates. So I'm very proud how the Chamber is doing with our newsletter. We have 2.4 subscribers to that. I guess average open rates for newsletters are somewhere around 25 to 30%. So that's something we're really cheering about in the office. We have held 40 Chamber events, and we have given out 80,000 referrals from member listings, and we've had 145,000 views on the website from businesses, people looking for businesses. We have given out $7,500 in educational scholarships. More than that have been awarded, but it's up to the student when they collect and the schools. And so some of those students have chosen to defer, and they have, I believe, we give them about 3 years that they can apply those scholarships. So we also gave out $4,000 for our Spark Soldotna Business Grant. We held 2 new events. The first Job Shadow Day that Soldotna has done in partnership with SoHi, and then our Keep the Cheer Here Shop Local program. And moving on down to the bottom, I'll start with the bottom right because this was kind of fun. In regards to our winter solstice fireworks show, we had a gentleman, he has a pretty big Facebook following, Alaska Outdoor Television. He took a video of our fireworks from his little cabin right next to the river, and he shared that on his socials, and it got reshared 185 times, and it got 1.5 thousand likes, and people got really excited about the timing. I guess everyone really enjoys celebrating winter solstice. So that was neat to see. Our 2026 visitor guide is getting prepped and ready for print. And you can see an example of the cover for this year's cover right there in the middle bottom. The 2026 Visitor Guide is nearing completion and will continue to serve as an important resource for visitors while highlighting Soldotna's businesses and community character. In recognition of the 250th anniversary of the United States, the guide incorporates patriotic elements that underscore the role of local communities and small businesses in the nation's past, present, and future. The guide will be released during the Love Soldotna event on February 14th. Moving on to the back. This is for our events. The Soldotna Chamber has hosted we hosted our 66th annual award celebration in December. We recognized individuals, businesses, and organizations whose leadership and service contribute to Soldotna's economic vitality and community well-being. We have a list of the following awards. The President's Award was Steve Manley, Young Professional of the Year, Kayla Hansen, People's Choice, Trustworthy Hardware, Commitment to Customer Care, Leslie Love with the Greatlander, Government and Civic Affairs was Friends of the Field House, Excellence in Profession, Soldotna Rotary, Dan Gensel, Commitment to Youth was Ray DeBardeleben, The Pioneer Award was Gary and Susie Davis. Volunteer of the Year, Tanya Lauderette. Small Business of the Year, Grant Aviation. Person of the Year, Matt Wilson. Chamber Business of the Year, Davis Block and Concrete. And this is a new one that we added, Youth Volunteer of the Year Award, Sarah DeVold. She is our young Miss Alaska teen, and she has been at, I think, basically every single Chamber event that we have done. And this young lady, she is just a joy to be around. Always has a good attitude, and it doesn't matter whether it's rain, sun, or freezing cold. She'll show up, look her best, and she'll volunteer the entire time. And she's so professional and just a very, very hard worker. And she's been just an incredible contributor to the Chamber. So she was very earning of that Youth Volunteer of the Year award. Our Soldotna Pie Auction, the Chamber's 31st Annual Pie Auction fundraiser, was a rose finish, bidding on the future. It was held on October 25th, and it was the first year in our new venue of the beautiful field house. It drew 250 attendees and had strong community support. It remains the Chamber's largest annual fundraiser, and proceeds directly invested back into students and the workforce. In 2025, funds raised will support 6 $3,000 scholarships, a $500 education grant for the community scholarship fair, and a $4,000 business grant. So a total investment of $22,500 toward local students, talent, opportunity, however you'd like to say that. The shift to the field house provided really generous space for games, dinner, and our energetic live auction, and attendees really embraced the theme and camaraderie of bidding for a purpose. And this reinforced the event's role in community engagement and scholarship support. Christmas in the Park. Christmas in the Park was canceled in 2025 due to the strong wind advisories, and it transitioned to Christmas in the Visitor Center. It drew nearly 1,700 attendees, and we got positive feedback that people enjoyed celebrating indoors. The holiday fireworks show, as we mentioned, were rescheduled to winter solstice, which also saw strong community support. Spark Soldotna returned in 2025 as part of the Alaska Startup Week, and bringing local entrepreneurs and small business owners together to showcase innovative business ideas and strengthen Soldotna's entrepreneurial ecosystem. The Chamber hosted our Shark Tank Spark Soldotna event, where finalists presented to a panel of judges and a live audience while competing for our $4,000 grant. Corey's Loaded Baked Potato was named the 2025 Spark Soldotna winner and also received People's Choice Award, earning a brand new iPad Pro, AirPods Pro, and an Apple Pencil, generously donated by GCI. Kenai River Fishing Co. was runner-up, and Aaron Gordon placed third he had a business called Final Spark. And this event highlighted the depth of entrepreneurial talent within Soldotna. Below, you'll see our visitor center expenses listed. Do you want me to go over those? Okay, yeah, you see them listed there, and that's how we ended up. Do we have any questions?
Any questions, comments from the council? Ms. Hutchings?
I have 2 questions. Number 1, has the community scholarship fair been scheduled yet?
Yes.
And what's the date?
Let me double check. It's coming up next Saturday.
Did you contact Alaska Community Foundation to make sure they have somebody here like they did last year?
So Sarah Sarah's our education manager. She reached out to everybody who had partnered last year, and we have more partners. I'm not sure if she's reached out to them, but I'll follow up tomorrow. She's been out of the office. She's been sick.
They had 80 scholarships that were available for students last year when they were here. So it's really important that they're there at that fair.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And my second thing is, did we have a tree issue this?
We did. Did you guys receive my letter?
Yes, but I would
Okay.
like to hear what transpired.
Yeah, so we originally had the Christmas in the Park event scheduled down at the Creek Park. And then with the wind advisory and having to transition it back to the Soldotna Chamber, we were trying to figure out how to do the tree lighting. And there was some trees leaning up against the tree that we wanted to light. At the time, I was told it was a cottonwood tree, and to me, it didn't appear to be an issue. I was ignorant in the moment, and so just trying to throw the event together because there had been public outcry that we had canceled the tree lighting. So the tree was cut down, and we lit the spruce tree that was in the parking lot of the chamber. And this was I will take full ownership of that. It was just a complete misunderstanding on my part of really how it should have gone. And in retrospect, I wish I would have reached out to the city to talk about it. At the time, I felt like the burden was on me to pull the event together, and it wasn't, I just was unaware that that was an issue. Now have been made very aware that, you know, I did not follow how it should have gone. The process just was not appropriate. But that's what happened.
Mr. Chilson?
Just expanding on that, I just wanted to say I really appreciated the letter that you and the board put together and submitted on behalf of that. I think it was very well written, and I'm not worried about this moving forward. I think we're in a good position now, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Vice Mayor Parker?
Thank you. So you said the scholarship is next Saturday?
Let me look it up right now for you. I'm sorry, I've been so busy pulling everything together. It's January 24th.
Okay.
So from 10 to 1, and that's our 3rd annual scholarship program.
And it's where?
The Soldotna Sports Complex.
Okay. So following up on what Councilmember Hutchings said, I was recently appointed to and joined the Alaska Community Foundation Board. So
Okay.
if you run into issues either through Councilmember Hutchings or myself, let us know.
Okay.
There is also through one of the local oil and gas companies that operates in Cook Inlet. They have posted on, I think it was on Instagram, that there is a $10,000 scholarship that they're offering to whether you're doing a bachelor's, an associate, or a vocational degree. So you might reach out to them, and that would be PEX LLC. And if you need contact information there, let me know. But they've posted it on Instagram, I believe it was, because I wanted to make sure Campbell got it. But
Okay.
they want to make sure that Peninsula students are aware that this scholarship, and $10,000 is a nice chunk of money.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I will reach out to both of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Anything else from the council? Saying nothing, thank you very much for your report.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next agenda item is number 5, public comments and presentations. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Anyone here in the audience wishing to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, I'll take a look at Zoom, and there are no hands raised there. Next item on the agenda is number 6, Assembly and Legislative Report, and I don't see anyone from the legislature and or the borough here or on Zoom. Next item, public hearings. First one, Ordinance 2025-037, clarifying the terms of office for the mayor and city council members during the transition to a November regular election cycle. May I have a motion to enact? Mr. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the enactment of ordinance 2025-037, clarifying the terms of office for the mayor and the city council members during the transition to a November regular election cycle.
May I have a second, please? Thank you, Ms. Hutchings. Report from the mayor, and the memorandum was fairly clear, I hope. This is just clarifying that with the change in election dates for the city into November, it just extends the council members and mayor's term until after the November election date instead of the October, as it had read before. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item, 2025-037? Anyone here in the audience? Seeing no one here in the audience, we'll take a look at Zoom, and there are no hands raised there. Having no one else who wishes to speak the items back before the council, are there any council comments? Are there any objections to approving and enacting ordinance 2025-037? Seeing and hearing none, ordinance 2025-037 is adopted by unanimous consent. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2025-038, amending Soldotna Municipal Code, Chapter 3.04, Budget and Capital Improvement Program, portions of Chapter 3.06, Financial Control, and Section 3.16.020, imposition of a short-term lodging tax, introduced by the city manager. May I have a motion to enact? Ms. Hutchings?
I move to enact ordinance 2025-038, amending Soldotna Municipal Code, Chapter 3.04, Budget and Capital Improvement Program, portions of Chapter 3.06, Financial Control, and Section 3.16.020, imposition of short-term lodging tax.
May I have a second, please? Vice Mayor Parker, thank you. A report from the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you're aware, we're systematically going through the code to do updates on code sections that require updating. Excuse me, and this is one of them. And the purpose of this ordinance is to really clarify and codify the city's current practices. Our finance director and our finance team went through this language and amended what is outdated language and what they do now. A couple of them that I'll just highlight, a couple of amendments that I do want to highlight. There's quite a bit of grammatical amendments, but there are some more substantive. In section 3.06070, let me turn to that quickly here, that clarifies that the city organizes accounts by fund for accounting and oversight of financial activities, and modernizes the fund structure descriptions so they align with GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles, and GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association standards, and reflect how the city currently accounts for its activities. And the Internal Service Fund, which we've had Internal Service Fund for a long time, has been codified to bring that into code. And these are the recommendations also from our auditors. Some language that was removed is in 3.04080, adoption of a property. No, we are not getting rid of that. Sorry, I have a typo on my notes here. It is in the next chapter in 3.06080, removes language that is already discussed in 3.06070. And then in 3.0609 also removes language regarding additional accounts, because we do not have additional accounts, and nor will we use that type of practice. In 3.06100 also clarifies the accounting principles for different fund types. The fund types are governmental funds and government-wide, proprietary, and fiduciary funds. Again, these are funds that we've used for, accounts that we used for a long time, and they are being recognized. Under 3.061110, there's been a change to the language states the city manager shall submit monthly financial reports to the city council. The language has been amended to quarterly, which is what we've been doing. So now that states in the code. The last one that I wanted to point out to you, you will be addressing later on with a separate ordinance, and it's 3.06140, implementation responsibility. Let me clarify that. And in that section, it referred to indemnification and bonds, and that's being taken out of this section and left in chapter 2.20, which you will see later this evening. That highlights some of the amendments, and if there's any questions.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item, which is ordinance 2025-038? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes.
Tyson Cox, Soldotna. I mostly came to speak to the one following, but I just wanted to mention that I hope that the assembly, or I mean the council does move forward on this, because even the part that has to do with short-term lodging, it's a very good section to add to that. That adds a lot of definition. If there are going to be waivers, who might receive those waivers and not pay the lodging tax. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Any questions from the council? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mr. Cox. Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance 2025-038? Seeing no one here in the audience, and I see no hands raised on the Zoom. Having no one else who wishes to speak, the item is back before the council. Are there any council comments? Mr. Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, to the administration. Would it be correct to say that for the city of Soldotna, this is a new tax?
The short-term rentals?
Yes.
It was adopted in 2024. And then implemented January 1st of 2025. So the council adopted the language. I could look for the exact date on,
That gives me a sense, relatively, it's relatively new.
relatively, yes.
Could I follow up?
Go ahead.
Could you provide a sense of what amount of revenue the city would expect to gain by the implementation of this?
It would take me a minute, but I could go back to the report that was provided. I think it was the last meeting, but I could go back to it. Approximately 250,000 a year is it's what it's anticipated to collect.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Any other council? Mr. Chilson?
Just expanding on that and clarifying, my understanding is this is not a new tax. This is just clarifying language pertaining to the established short-term rental tax and potential exemptions with that. So if anything, we're actually reducing our revenue from it by expanding exempt entities for that tax.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, thank you for pointing that out. And also, we have been providing this exemption all along. We wanted to put it into code to recognize it, but we have been exempting this entity.
Any further discussion on ordinance 2025-038? Seeing and hearing none, we'll call the roll, please.
Hutchings,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes.
Parker, Nelson,
Yes.
Wacker,
Yes.
Chilson.
Yes.
You have 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-038 passes on a 6-0 vote. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2025-039, amending the Soldotna Municipal Code, sections 17.10.385 to establish a uniform administrative permit requirement for all short-term rental units and amending section 17.10.130, 17.10.260, 17.10.315, and 17.10.400 for consistency, introduced by Councilmember Chilson. May I have a motion to enact?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd move to enact ordinance 2025-039.
May I have a second, please? Thank you, Ms. Hutchings. Report from Councilmember Chilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Based on ongoing discussions with administration as well as some feedback we've received from the community, at this point in time, I feel there's further work that needs to be done with this ordinance. So my intent would be not to dive into this ordinance tonight, and I will be immediately making a motion to postpone this to a future meeting when we conclude the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Yelson. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item, ordinance 2025-039? Now, please step forward and state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I was just reading through the ordinance to refresh my memory on it. I wanted to,
Name and address for the record, please.
what's that? Oh, Sheila, Sheila, last name Epling, Soldotna. I wanted to find out the permit that's being proposed. Is it a set permit? Will it be flexible based on the budget? Is it going to change from year to year? Is it going to change like if the whole thing passes? Or will it be something that's going to fluctuate based on the financial budget?
That's kind of going to be a difficult question to
Yeah.
answer right now because it's going to be postponed and for more work.
Right.
So it could change between now and when it finally comes back.
Yeah, I would think that it probably need more work, like you were talking about, so.
I could say that we have an established permit process. This is just making it consistent across all zoning districts. So I would reference the code for that, maybe reach out to our planning department. They'd be able to answer any questions on that, or feel free to reach out to me directly and we can have some side channel conversations later after the meeting. but
And-
to Mr. Mayor's point, it's still a work in progress. So
Gotcha.
I would hold on for a future meeting to be scheduled, and
Okay.
we'll have an additional public hearing then and more information to follow.
That's good. That's what I wanted to know. I just wanted to know, was it going to change from year to year? Was it going to be set? That
As
rate?
far as the requirements for the permit, I would not anticipate so.
Okay.
But it would be basically just building on what we have established and just keeping that consistent across zoning districts. And I would imagine unless there's additional legislation from the council to change that, it would be consistent from year to year.
That answers everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance 2025-039? Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Tyson Cox, Soldotna. First off, I wanted to thank the staff. I have spoken with Ms. Mitchell and Ms. McDonald, and they were both very helpful. I very much appreciate that. Ms. Mitchell's always very helpful. I can be a bit much at times, and she does not take offense to anything, which I very much appreciate, and she's very helpful. So I just want to put that out there first. My questions more come to, most of you, at least the council members, all received an email and the mayor. In the general section of that is where my questions really come up is I guess I'm asking, what is the need for a special permit for this? I know in part of it is in talking with Ms. Mitchell today, I know that there's not very many permits like that within the city. I think food trucks, portable food is one of them. Other than that, there's not a lot of other businesses that are required to have something like this. So my question is why isolate such a business and require them to have extra standards on top of it that they have to follow? I mean, and I'll go into some of the general standards. And this was in it before. It just wasn't highlighted. I didn't see it until this time, or I would have mentioned it last go round and whenever we went over this last year. But one of them is a local point of contact available 24 hours a day during periods in which the permitted dwelling is used as short-term rental. I guess my question is what other businesses do we require to have a 24-hour local contact? I don't know that anyone has to. I know there's people up here that have businesses. I don't think any of them are required to have that. And then if we are required to do that, what's the standard going to be? Is how are you going to verify that? And how are you going to keep up on that? It just seems silly to have to do that when there's other ways to get a contact if you need it. I can bet you, because I run one of these, that the phone number for the contact is right in the building somewhere, probably in multiple places in it and on the websites. It's there for people to get if they need something that is that kind of a point of contact. The next one was talking about no more than 5 guest rooms with a total of 10 guests. What if the home has 6 rooms, which there are some down East Street out that do this, that have more than 5 rooms? I mean, now what are we going to do? It seems like kind of a arbitrary number because I don't know, I guess I'm not sure why that number was chosen. The other 2 items on there is no more than 1 nameplate on signage. I get that, but that's also already covered in your sign code. And then there's one for the off-street parking, which is already covered in other code as well for parking, because I remember when I was on council, we went over it for quite some time, talking about just residents that were parking in their lawns and such. And then the last one is be required in accessory dwellings. And I know that has its own code as well. So I guess my question is why are we repeating all this code and doing that rather than just having some sort of certificate for the taxes and then some sort of a sheet that goes with it that says, hey, we have all these other codes that you do need to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. And as I said earlier, there's going to be more work done on this, and I'm sure part of your memo is going to be taken into consideration.
I hope so. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, if I can help in any way, or I had let Mr. Chilson know that I know a lot of the folks in this community. If I can't help, I can probably find someone that has that answer of how that's being done within the industry. So it's something that we could definitely work on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Go.
I just want to say I really appreciate you reaching out to share your feedback on that. You have a lot of experience I find very valuable in the consideration of this legislation. The goal behind this is not to introduce additional burdens for our operators or provide redundancies with the code. So I think there is some opportunity to do this in a different way potentially and make it a little bit more efficient, less burdensome. So we'll be having some discussions and maybe considering some amendments and bringing this back before in the future, hopefully.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I will certainly be in touch.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to speak on this ordinance 2025-039? I'll take a look at Zoom and there's no hands raised there. Having no one else wishing to speak, the item is back before the council. Are there any council comments? Mr. Chilson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would make a motion to postpone this ordinance to have a public hearing scheduled at our February 11th city council meeting.
Second? Thank you, Vice Mayor Parker. Any discussion? Any objections to the postponement? Seeing and hearing none, the postponement is approved by unanimous consent. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, ordinance 2025-040, amending Soldotna Municipal Code, Chapter 2.20, Officers and Employees Bond Requirements, introduced by the city manager. May I have a motion to enact? Thank you, Mr. Carey.
I move the adoption of ordinance 2025-040, amending Soldotna Municipal Code, Chapter 2.20, Officers and Employee Bond Requirements.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Chilson. Report from the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Title 29 communities, first-class cities and second-class and any other class other than home rule are required to follow Title 29. Title 29 requires that cities have a bond for and their purposes, for liability purposes. Home rule does not, and part of, so this amends that to come into align with Title 29, our home rule status. But part of it too is that many years ago, the insurance companies quit offering blanket bonds in the same manner that they used to, and they've come up with equivalent insurance policies instead. So our language allows for either, should insurance policies change, insurance companies change what they do. So it would continue to allow for a blanket bond or equivalent insurance policy, and goes on to define for city manager, finance director, certain employees as designated by the city council, and mayor and vice mayor, and the amount shall be it was increased from 100,000 to 500,000. So, and it also continues to state the premiums on the bonds or equivalent insurance policy will be paid by the city. It cleans up the language to comply with our home rule status, and then also recognizing that the blanket bonds are not offered any longer by insurance companies.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on ordinance 2025-040? Seeing and hearing none here in the audience, take a look at Zoom, and there are no hands raised there. Having no one wishing to speak, the item is back before the council. Are there any council comments? Are there any objections to enacting ordinance 2025-040? Seeing and hearing none, ordinance 2025-040 is enacted by unanimous consent. Moving on to the next agenda item is ordinance 2025-041, increasing estimated revenues and appropriations by an amount not to exceed $1,738,800 in the Utility System Capital Improvement Fund for anticipated increase in the Alaska Clean Water Fund loan from the State of Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation for the Biosolids Dewatering Replacement Project, introduced by the city manager. May I have a motion to enact?
I'll make a motion to enact ordinance 2025-041.
Thank you, Mr. Chilson. May I have a second, please? Thank you, Mr. Carey. Report from the city manager.
Thank you. At our last meeting, the council adopted resolution 2025-041, which authorized the city manager to apply for a loan increase in the amount of $1,738,000. And this will actually then appropriate the amount into the project budget. And I would also like to add that this would increase the total loan amount to approximately 3.9 million, with 2 million of that amount forgiven. So in other words, it's a forgiven loan, forgiven grant. And together with the CDS fundings through EPA in the amount of 1.9 million, the project will be fully funded and ready for final design and construction. And that project is out to bid at this time, correct? And a pre-bid was held this past week. Yeah, yesterday, yes. So that project is moving along through the process.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on ordinance 2025-041? Seeing and hearing no one here in the audience. Look at Zoom and there is no hands raised there. Are there any, having no one wishing to speak, the item is back before the council. Are there any council comments? I'm going to call for the roll call vote on this.
Nelson,
Yes.
Wackler,
Yes.
Chilson,
Yes.
Hutchings,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Parker. You have 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-041 passed, enacted on a 6-0 vote. Next item on the agenda is new business, and everything under that was approved on the consent agenda. Next item is mayor and council reports. Mayor's reports and proclamations. Really have nothing to add tonight, other than we've got a weather front moving in, and the next couple of days may be pretty nasty around here. So just advise everyone to take care, drive safely, walk safely. And I think our Public Works Department is all geared up with a whole bunch of shovels to keep the streets clean. All right, moving on. Council reports on boards and commissions. December 18th, 2025 Airport Commission meeting. Vice Mayor Parker.
Thank you, Mayor Carey. At the Airport
Oh,
Commission.
thank you. Was that a promotion?
I'm
or
sorry.
demotion?
Thank you, Mayor Whitney, and I'm just,
Yes,
I had
Councilman
a
Bloom,
little
officer, gotta take
flashback.
care of-
I had a flashback.
Yeah.
So at the December 18th Airport Commission meeting, there was discussion about an action taken on leasing of Lot 7. There was an RFP that was issued. There were 2 proposals that were received, and the city will be negotiating with Missionary Aviation Repair for the lease of this parcel. It was a great discussion, and it was also nice to see that there's some competition and out at the airport, and people want to lease the lots out there. Also at that meeting, Mr. Cornelius identified 2 additional allocations that are being given to the airport. 137,000 FAA is allocating to the airport, and then there's 150,000 in AIP entitlement funds that will be coming to the airport. So that was the Airport Commission meeting.
Were those funds earmarked for any particular project?
I would defer to Mr. Cornelius.
Thank you, Mayor. They are not earmarked for any particular project. The airport can use them for a long list of eligible projects. So we can't use it at our heart, for anything we want. But it's a pretty broad eligibility use. So not operations, however.
Mr. Chilson?
If I may just briefly hijack Vice Mayor Parker's report on this to kind of expand on this discussion. I know that historically our airport has received significant amount of grant funding through the Fed for its ongoing maintenance and operation. And we've continued to observe a reduction in federal funding opportunities for local entities. I'm just wondering, are we beginning to see any effects on that for FAA funding for the airport, or foresee any impacts to FAA funding moving into the near future?
Thank you, Councilmember Chilson, through the mayor. Not really in the FAA side of things. The grant funding continues to be fairly readily available. For us, it's identifying projects that are needed and within our budget for the local match portion. We've also been successful, as you've noted, and have been able to take care of a lot of the infrastructure that we actually own, which is not vertical improvements, but, you know, apron taxiways and runways. And over the last 15 years, we've nearly replaced every piece of asphalt out there. We've purchased heavy equipment. We've got a little bit of nav aid and heavy equipment kind of on the forecast too that we're planning. So we are continuing to see grant opportunities through FAA at this time.
Okay, highly encouraging. Thank you.
And one other question I have for you, Mr. Cornelis. I may have missed it, but has there ever been a report made about the crash that occurred out there earlier this or last year now?
Thank you, Mayor. NTSB did release a preliminary report on that with really nothing surprising. It's kind of what they were expecting to find at the end of the report, which was pilot error for lack of better terms. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anything else from the council? Next item is the January 8th, 2026 Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. Mr. Chilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So at our January 8th Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting, we had quite a bit on the agenda that evening. First of which was discussion on some changes that have been made to the naming policy that's been a work in progress. The advisory board had recently held a work session on that, and I believe we'll be seeing that policy coming before council here in the near future, sponsored by Vice Mayor Parker. But the main focus on the discussion is just some minor changes that had been done to it, and relating to how appointments to the naming panel will be done. So it's going to be done by yourself moving forward, or future mayors, rather than by the city manager. And then, like I mentioned, the board had voted unanimously to support this resolution for the code change. So we'll be seeing that come before us here at some point in the future. Additionally, we saw numbers again on the ongoing utilization of the field house, which in short, that it's being very heavily utilized and the trends continue to go upwards. So it's been a fantastic asset to the community, as we all know. They've had a number of large events over there so far since it's been put into operation, such as the Boys and Girls Club Gala, the Super Supper. All of them have been really well done. The city hosted a turkey trot this year. It was the first time our Parks Department did that. My family actually participated in that. It was actually really nice to be able to get out of the house on a cool Thanksgiving day and go over there and not only donate some food to support local organizations in the community that put it to those in need, but just it was a great event. And Parks is continuing to do new events like that, like establishing a kids indoor soccer league. Actually not establishing, they're taking it over from the Boys and Girls Club. And then they are actually establishing an NFL flag football league. So a lot of new programming opportunities in the field house coming up. We also had some good discussion on the campground utilization in the city this last year. Also, in short, it's significantly up. There were about 113,000 users that we had observed in Centennial, as well as about 61,000 or so in Swiftwater. And those statistics were gathered using a new software platform that we had recently purchased as a city. So it's opened up some new inflows of information just to see how those facilities are being used. Other things coming up, there's going to be a joint work session between the city council and I believe the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board at some point in the near future to discuss the refrigeration system and recommendations on how to move forward with that, given the end of its life that we're aware of, and how we're going to deal with that in the city. And then lastly, we had some discussion on the need for dump stations within the city. So as we are all aware, Fred Meyer had closed their dump station, I think, within the last year or two. And then we've also closed our two, just basically given to age, and we're falling apart. So there's just ongoing discussions on how we're going to address that community need. It sounds like Fred Meyer hasn't ruled out reopening those. I know our city staff have been hopeful and with Fred Meyer trying to get that back and going again. So we'll see how that unfolds. But that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Chilson? Saying none, we'll move on to the next agenda item. It's the city manager's report.
Thank you. A few items to report on this evening. I wanted to report on the upcoming work sessions. February 11th work session is at 4:30, and it's regarding the Riverfront Redevelopment Rezone Ordinance. And I did want to note that notice of the work session and and the upcoming ordinance date that it comes back to the council is going out to all property owners and tenants within the rezone area. So that is going out. We had a meeting regarding that today. February 25th work session is at 5 p.m. and it's the annual work session regarding city investments. March 25th work session, please note it will be at 4 p.m. And that is regarding the ice arena project itself, but also we're going to be talking about our city infrastructure needs. And we have, our internal meetings, and we were discussing the need to not only address the ice arena, but so that all of the other needs that we have infrastructure-wise. That includes water, sewer, roads, and other needs that we have. So we're going to present all of that so you can see a complete picture. With this complete picture, my goal is then to develop a strategic plan for moving forward so that we have all of this in one document, and then we'll identify how we move forward. We fully recognize that there's not a lot of funding at any level at this point in time, but we do still need to move forward, identify our needs, and then create the roadmap, which is the strategic plan. Heidi referenced, that's the end of the work sessions for now. Heidi referenced a chamber meeting that we had today. We had Heidi attend along with one board member, Jill Schaefer, Joel and Michaelan from the field house to talk about upcoming events for this next year, city roles, chamber roles, and how we can support each other. It was a really good meeting, and Joel and Michaelan plan to meet every couple of months with the chamber to talk through the events and make sure that we have them calendared and all the needs are met. You will all see in the February 25th meeting our year-end review from all of our departments. All of the department activities for 2025 will be on that agenda. As the mayor stated, we do have a storm coming in and we are gearing up for the upcoming storm. Scotty and his crew are ready, and they'll be out on the streets as soon as it's happening. Actually, they've been out widening, and you've probably seen that. They're widening and preparing because with the amount of snow, the streets get narrow. I wanted to comment on the NFL flag football at the field house. There are 200 people that signed up for that league. So yeah, it's big. I believe it started tonight, is one group coming in tonight. So very, very busy. Joel came to me, I said, I have a problem. I'm like, okay, what's your problem? We need another field house. I'm like, we're gonna take a pause on that one. But anyway, it's great. The utilization is high and everyone loves it. So that's my report for this evening. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for the city manager? I do have one, and maybe that I'm not hearing properly, but February 25th, you said something about final report or investment reports or something?
Right. It's the annual investment report.
But we also have the work session according to our pending legislation on the two ordinances also that day.
That's been moved to February 11th.
Okay.
We were trying to fit in all of the work sessions that we have.
Okay.
Mayor Whitney?
Go ahead.
Can the city clerk or the city manager send us an email with all the upcoming? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for the city manager? Yep. All right, moving on to the next agenda item is public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on any item? Anyone here in the audience wishing to speak on any item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll look at Zoom, and there are no hands raised there. Next item on the agenda is council comments, and we'll start out with Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor Whitney. No comments tonight.
Okay, we'll move on to Ms. Wackler.
Hi, everyone. Good to be back from Christmas break. I wanted to say I went to the field house, and I'm just going to reiterate what everybody said. The utilization, I was there on Monday for my son had rugby practice at 6 p.m. and I watched them transition out every single spot with the sports. Girls softball was there. There was soccer practice. There was football practice. There was rugby. You name it going on, as well as about 50 people walking upstairs. I had a huge smile on my face walking around upstairs on that track to see just a massive number of people. And all I kept thinking is, what were these people doing last year? So just love it. Absolutely love seeing it. And that's all I had to say today. Thank you all.
Ms. Hutchings.
Well, I just wanted to say, I think that the city crews are doing a great job on all the snow removal, and Lord knows we've had enough dumped on us. And I also would like to say, I think it's great what's going on at the sports center, but I think we really need a light. I watch people in and out of that road all the time. And have a great evening.
Mr. Carey.
No comment?
Mr. Chilson.
Well, Linda beat me to the comment on the roads crew. I just want to say they're doing a great job removing the snow, and there's a lot coming up, and I know they're staying busy and their work is well recognized, and appreciate all they do.
Vice Mayor Parker. Moving on to pending legislation, ordinance 2025-015 and 2025-017, and those are up for public hearing in February 25th. And January the 19th, Library Advisory Board meeting at 5:30 p.m. and January 28th, City Council regular meeting at 6 p.m. Having nothing further on our agenda, we are adjourned.
I do just have a quick question. I may have missed it, but did we discuss resolution 2026-003?
That probably was on the consent agenda. Pardon me?
It was approved on the consent agenda. Okay, I'm new to this, so I just wasn't sure where we were at with that.
Yeah, it was on the consent agenda.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. I was concerned. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay.